Great. Thank you very much, John. Thank you, everyone, for joining us this morning for our latest installment of Solutions for Success. Today, or this month's topic, is Microsoft Teams Phone. Again, we're seeing a lot of interest amongst our clients that have moved to the Microsoft Cloud and are using Teams extensively within their organization as sort of a natural evolution of and extension of that platform. But there are lots of questions that people have. What are the costs? How easy is it to move? How does it plug in? Do my phone numbers all change? Can I keep my extensions? Does it have call queuing? Anyways, lots of great questions. John Zeri is our resident Teams Phone expert. So I will monitor the chat and feed him any of those questions that you have. But hopefully in today's session, he'll give you some of an overview of it, of Teams Phone, if you're not familiar, answer some of those questions. And then if you have more specific questions that have not been covered, again, as he mentioned, please post those in the chat and we'll make sure to get those.
All right. Thank you so much, Anton. With that said, again, this is a short session. We're trying to compact lots of information within the 30 minutes. We value your time, and I know everybody is busy. So again, if we go over today's session and you have still left the question, again, we make sure to get back to all your questions, and you can also reach out later. So again, I'm going to start with a few pages of the PowerPoint to kind of give you a context of what we're talking about the phone system and so on. And when I say live demo, I will go into the Microsoft Teams and the phone system and show you the different aspect of the phone system, and then what is next. So that's a small introduction about for those of you that are not familiar with Point Alliance. We are a Microsoft Gold partner based in Toronto, Canada. We have 10 competency, 4 gold and 6 silver. We cover the cloud platform end to end, and our team is 100% Microsoft certified, and we pride ourselves on that. You can get more information about Point Alliance at our website, of course, pointalliance.com/company profile, and that's our part about Point Alliance. So let's just jump right on the topic. What is Microsoft Teams Phone? So Microsoft Teams Phone is a cloud-based telephony solution that integrates into the Office 365. And again, that's very important because there are lots of vendors, like any tool that you perhaps are using, like a Teams today. There are other vendors out there that they compete and with their single individual products. But what make Office Microsoft product and offering very attractive? Well, they all fall under the same security and same administration. So you don't have to go to a different portal to do, for your meetings, for your phone system, for your email, those things. So all fall under the same umbrella. There's some of the key features that I've mentioned here. And again, I'm going to go to the demo and show you more. Within the teams that we're all on it right now, and again, since the last couple of years, probably we have never used a meeting management tool like an audio conferencing and those things more extensive as we have because of the COVID. So we're all using Teams on a daily basis for the chat, meeting, and so on. And calling is such a natural thing because when you have a meeting, there's an audio and video. So call is not any different from that. That's why the Microsoft Teams Phone is a natural fit for what Microsoft is offering. And the other thing is a call from anywhere on any device. And again, that's what the Microsoft Office is all about, right? Doesn't really matter what device, using your phone, using a browser, using a desktop, you should be able to do your function. And the call is not any different from that. And I will showcase that to you shortly. We talk about this, it's delivered from Microsoft Trusted Cloud. So all your information is all captured under your tenant, is all safe and secure, and you have full control of it. And a simplified setup. So basically you hire a new team member, you give them an office license, you're gonna give them a phone license. As easy as that. So 2 checkboxes and the person's up and running. The billing is very simplified and actually much easier than your traditional phone provider. Again, most phone providers, they charge you based off the number of the numbers we have. With the Microsoft one is per user, so you could have 100 of numbers in your phone trunk, but you're only using 5 of them, so you're only going to pay for those 5 usage. And the management and reporting, that I will get into that shortly. That's it. The basic package that the Microsoft provide, which is the easiest one to set up, is called phone system with a calling plan. So again, there's a 2-part to the phone system, phone system and calling plan. And calling plan, you have options. So there are domestic calling plans and there are international calling plans. And again, you can mix and match that for a user. So you could have a user that only, for example, we are in Canada, the domestic calls, that means calls between the US and Canada. But let's just say you have a couple of team members that they need to make call to Europe. So you will get them international one. So it's very flexible that how you can do this. So it's not just one that have to fit all. You can be flexible with that. So that's very simple with that license. Again, as I say, is a check of the checkbox there when you add a new team member to your organization, and then just give them a phone number, and as easy as that you go. But that might not be the case. Again, we have our audiences. We have an international audience today, so you might not be located in an area that the phone system is available and the calling plan is not available. So Microsoft does provide you with the options. So one question you will need to ask yourself right off the bat with what the diagram I was showing you, calling plan is available to your region or not. So again, Microsoft is expanding the regions rapidly, and say on a monthly basis, there are more regions get on board with that. But if it's not the issue. Do you need to keep your current PSTN carrier? Again, some companies, they have to, because they might have a certain requirement that they cannot move the whole thing over. So, or you want to use Microsoft Managed Access to PSTN. So if the answer to all those 3 questions, yes, yes, and yes, and then again, the calling plan is a no-brainer. Again, we are on that, using that service for last 5 years, and we are extremely happy with it. But again, as I mentioned, that's not it. So you might have a different requirement and you have different needs. So Microsoft provide the solution for all type of complex situations. So the basic one, as I mentioned, is a phone system with a calling plan. That means Microsoft will manage the whole thing, and you don't have to worry about dealing with any phone companies or any provider. Or you can use a phone system with your own PSTN. So you want to keep, let's just say you're working with a Bell or TELUS or any other company, and you want to go through that. So with the operator connect system, and they have a phone system with the PSTN with the direct routing. That means maybe you have on-premise phone system and you do have a PSTN, and you can directly your calls through the Microsoft Teams. So there's a bunch of different combination, and every organization is different. But in most cases, that based off our experience, people, they're able to just go with a phone system with a calling plan because they don't want to manage 2 different systems and so on, and their life just becomes so much easier just being on one platform.
John, a quick question, just
Yes.
how does someone check if a Microsoft calling plan is available in the areas where they're doing business? Is there a central place, or how does one check that?
Yes, I can share that link after this call. Microsoft has a directory of the regions that provide service, and you can easily check to see if that the country that you're looking for has the phone system and has the calling plan. And again, there's some limitation, but I will share that link right after this presentation. And that's a great question. All right, so let's just jump into the demo and how we're using it, and we go from there. So let me just stop this presentation. And I'm going to share my screen here with you. Great. So again, just a few things I want to show you. Again, you're all familiar with the Microsoft Teams, right? You're using the Teams and so on. So this is my Teams desktop. You can see I have all the stuff on the side. And regardless of you're using the phone system or not, you will have a tab here that says calls. So if you are using a phone system, what will get added as soon as the license is assigned to you, you get this dial pad here. So by default, you should be able to make a direct VoIP calls to all of your colleagues without having a phone system, right? Because that's using a VoIP system and you're not dialing a number. You're contacting a colleague within your organization. That's just like having a meeting with them. But once the licenses get provisioned, you will see this tab here, the dial pad here, so you can make calls. And also you will see underneath of it, you have your phone number there. Which is, again, so you know what is your number and so on. And I just want to cover a few things. Again, one of the things that I find that great, because I'm in the teams all the time, right? And we are in the collaborating, we are in a team room, we are chatting, we exchanging, we're working on the documents together. So I'm right there, so I don't have to have another application running. And for those on the call that are like a system administrator, they don't have to kind of push another software to the desktop for the users, or if on the mobile devices. We all have Teams already. So once you go with the phone system, really there's no software needed. It's just a backend setup and so on. So what you can see here, I have my call history, which is great right here. And I can see, because this is part of the Microsoft 365, all connected, I can start chatting with that person and so on. And that's one thing you're going to consider. There are lots of VoIP providers out there, and they kind of compare themselves to Microsoft, but I will share also where Microsoft stands among other providers and so on. But again, the great thing is that they're all there, that you can see what's happened. Somebody called you, I can see which of them, like Jonathan is on the call right now. I can see he's busy right now, so I will not can bother him to call him. This is all calls. Then you can see your missed calls, incoming calls, and the voicemails. They're all in the one place here. And again, the way the voicemail is, if somebody leaves you a voicemail, Microsoft turns that voicemail to the attachment and transcript, and not that you can find it here and under voicemail, is also you will still get an email with the attachment of that voicemail and the transcript. The other thing you see on this page is a park calls. So that means like you get a call, you can park that call and you message your colleague and say, okay, pick up that park call. So you can you can use a forwarding, but this is another option. Let's just say you do have a receptionist, they're not sure who to forward the call to, they can park the call and then look for the right person for it, and they can tell them, okay, pick up the park call, and they give them the digit of that. Every parked call has a unique number. They can share that with them. And earlier I mentioned, the whole idea is that it doesn't matter what device and where you're using this thing. So let's just say go to my browser here. This is my browser now. You can see I have identical view here. So let's just say I have no access to my phone. I don't have my laptop with me. I have access to browser. I still can make a phone call straight from the browser here. The same idea. I have all my calls here. I can see on top. I can look at them, incoming, voicemail, and everything. So everything I had on my desktop, I have it here as well. And that's, again, the beauty of the whole thing, that just like everything with the Microsoft 365, that you can access your document, OneDrive, SharePoint, same from your desktop, mobile, or browser, the same idea exists here too. And I'm sure many of you also use your phone, the Teams on your phone. So I'm going to show you that as well. So open that, and this is my phone here. Sorry, it's a bit smaller. Let me just make it larger. You can see the same idea. The great thing about this one, with the hybrid work model, and lots of us work from home, people are hesitant to kind of, when the calls come, they want to make an outgoing call. To kind of use their mobile device, because they don't want to share the mobile device number with whoever they're making the call, right? So the nice thing about this, what it does, when you're making a phone call from the Teams on your mobile phone, then your number, your work number will display to the external user. So they will not see your mobile number, they're not going to see your private number. You will be able to make a phone call, and it will go as you were sitting on your desk, you're making that call. Again, same idea. You got the calls here. You can pick up the park calls if I want to, and all integrated with each other very well. So definitely very user-friendly. The other side of I want to show here, which is important, okay, how does this we manage this thing? As I mentioned, I'm in the Microsoft Team Admin Center. As soon as you have licenses for your phone system, you see extensive section between Microsoft Teams and the voice section. So you see all your phone numbers and so on. Again, the great thing about Microsoft Voice is that you're not paying for the numbers that you have, you're paying for the users you have. So only for the licensed users you get paid for this. So when we ported our phone from the provider to the Microsoft, before we used to pay for every line because that's how they charge the phone companies. With the Microsoft, you see how we have all these spare phones here, which is not assigned here. We're not paying for any of this thing. It is ours sitting there. Once we get a license to the user, then we pay for that user for that time period. And if the person leaves, again, if you especially have seasonal staff for those things, so you don't have to worry about it, then you remove the license and you're not paying for that. The other important thing is that people want to know how is that Microsoft Team phone is being used? Is that are there people utilizing the variable? So it's also there's a great reporting here, right? You can go to reporting and look at this information. You can base off the period you want, and also you can export to Excel if you want to. So you can analyze it a bit more in depth going from there and see if the destination of the calls that people are calling is that the Canada, US, and so on. And Microsoft is doing great work in integrating the products within each other, right? So again, as we have experienced over the years that how Teams, SharePoint, and OneDrive are integrated with each other, phone system is not any different. So again, for those of you that use Dynamic 365, this is a great future, right? With the Dynamics, you capturing all your sales activities, you put in meeting notes of those things. Now you'll be able to make your phone calls right from the Dynamics and right from here. So I can go to any of the contacts, I can make the dial. And the most important part, you can now record calls, take notes, and view real-time transcript right from that contact. So that really kind of capturing all the important sales activity process. Could be a sending email is captured in Dynamics. You're making a phone call, it's captured there. You can also record this conversation to have it all in one place. So again, it is very important as you're thinking about this. So it's not just going with the Microsoft phone system, it's not just going with a phone system, it's about how this thing all work together, right? So you can't just look at it as, oh, this is just a phone, a VoIP. Microsoft Voice, Team Voice is beyond that, and what you can do. Going back to the again to administration side of it, just want to show you again with the Operator Connect. I mentioned that there's lots of vendors available there that you can see. There are 23 vendors, depends on what which region you are and so on. So you can see there AT&T and you got the Telecom Deutschland and Rogers and so Verizon. So this list is growing, right? So it's growing at a rapid rate, and you could use those one. And then also the direct routing is that using your own infrastructure with your PSTN. The other thing that you have, they have like you can manage the calling policy, call park policy, caller ID policies, that how you want the caller IDs goes. Some organizations, they want to have all the calls goes at the main number, so the end user does not see the individual number. So those things are really easily assigned from there. Then again, the dial plan things, auto attendant. You can set up as many as auto attendant. So when people call your numbers, it gets greeted right away with the system that you can set up within working hours, after hours, and holidays. You can set up. You can select the call queues that if somebody says to talk to our help desk, press 2 and goes to the call queue. So you have all those controlled here as well, easily right within your Microsoft Teams admin, which you are using it perhaps right now. And you can set up the holidays, for example. So somebody call your organization, if they're calling you on a stats holiday, the phone system is aware of it, you updated those things. The call queue especially is very interesting because how they call queue, not what they have done, integrates very well within the Microsoft Teams as well. So what you can do, let me show you this example. So go here, go to one of the teams. One of the services we provide is called Ask Service Desk. Basically, that's our support system that we have for our clients that they do. So what you can do, you can actually assign the call queue to the team room. And what you can do, let's just say you have a call queue that has 4 members here, and this is our example here that we have. So what you make in the phone calls, you can have the numbers not to be your number, but to be that call queue. So if I start dialing a number, you see I have an option here, call as you or call as a VoIP call queue number. And that's very important too, because if you have a branding and you want to kind of, if your support or help desk or call center, whatever you have, and you wanted that number not to be the individual that calling, you can do it right from there. And you can see again, it's so well, it's integrated and so easy to do. So now I can make that phone call and the end user will see our call center number, not my number in this case. So you can control all those things. The other great thing about this one, let's just say you have a call center type of situation that people call and leave a voicemail, but that call center type, again, Microsoft Teams is not a call center, but this collaboration and call queue, it has the same feel to it. So basically, if somebody leave a message for that group, all those will come to the here. You got an incoming, you got a voicemail, they're all in center. So everybody is working in that team will have access to those information, which is, I think, is crucial, and it's really true collaborative way of the dealing with the incoming calls, that it is not aimed as an individual, but it's aimed as a group of people. So you were never going to miss the action because all those things shared with all the member of that team. So
John,
again,
I was just going to jump
yes.
in and relay a couple of questions, and some you may have touched on. One was about hunt groups and call queues assigned to groups of people, that an incoming call could be picked up by, one of a group of people. So whether that was a sales or support group or something like that?
That's right. Yes. So you can have it and you can put a different condition on it. So if I open the call queue, one of them here, what you can set it up, you have a few options there that how you want to manage that. So again, it is very smart because also the Microsoft phone is not just a phone system. It's really understand what you're doing. So the things that you can do that you can go to the users and you can have it on the attendant routing, but it's also present-based routing. So you can also understand, let's just say the call comes and there are 4 members of this. In this case, we have attendant routing. That means everyone on that call queue going to get ringed, and the first one pick it up that will answer the call. But you also can put the present-based thing. Let's just say there are 4 people on that thing, but one of them is in the middle of presentation. So that one person will not get the call because they're showing as a presence, they're showing busy, or they're not available. So those are, again, small thing, but important things you can do. And then you can also say how long the person will stay on the call, maximum number of queue. If it goes longer than that, you can push them to the voicemail. Is a time cut, timeout goes, and also go to voicemail. So you have lots of controls here.
Another question just about call recordings. Where do they get stored? Are there limits to how much data you can store there? And are there extra charges that would go along with that, or fees at some point?
Yes, so the recording that you do is always stored within your OneDrive. That's including a meeting recording, or it is or your personal recording. So there's no extra charge for that, and we go from there. The other thing that you also kind of those are personal calls, but let's just say you have a call that initiated from what I was showing you within the here. Let me just go back to this from the Teams here. So any recording initiated from any Teams will store within the Teams, and that's a base of your available space on your SharePoint basically, which is most people would not reach that limit. But yeah, so in all the individual one will get stored under recording under your OneDrive.
And one more question. If you're on a call and wanted to pull someone into that call, either an internal person to your organization, or could you get well, let's say a third person external to your organization into a call? Are those features that are available?
Yes, you can pull anybody into the call as long as you have a calling plan. If it was internal, if you didn't have a phone system, of course, you only can pull internal people. But if it is, if once you have the phone system, you can pull as many as people you want into the call.
And then one more question. Can you call landlines through Microsoft Phone? Do you need to keep your PSTN for certain features or functions?
Again, our recommendation is that you let the PSTN go and just be self-sufficient. You do not need them once you move the porting number over. And by the way, in most countries, the law enforces that their current provider to kind of release your numbers to you if you want to. So again, that was not the case many years ago, but now they have to. So the number porting usually takes about 10 business days, and you just submit it through the process through the Microsoft Team Admin Center. And I have to say they have done the PSTN team is amazing and very accurate on the timing they're going to give you. And the process is getting more and more simplified every day, that how you port your numbers over. And yeah, so it will take about 10 days. You don't need your current provider anymore. The only caveat is that some organizations, they still use traditional fax numbers. So if let's just say you have a pool of the 100 number and 3 of them are going to fax number, you need to keep those 3 numbers with the existing one because you need a fax. But again, lots of organizations, they move into electronic fax. That means it's not really relying on the device on premise anymore. So for better collaboration. So you will need to kind of look into that, but that's the only thing I would say you would need to keep your phone system, unless there's some restriction there as well.
A couple more quick questions maybe to sneak in before noon. One, compatibility with integrating Teams with on-premise IP-based PBX systems and desk phones. Does it integrate with other hardware?
Again, you can do that through the direct routing if you want to keep your existing system. The phone, if you want to be truly, like the phones need to be Microsoft phone certified. And I know Microsoft is working with lots of vendors to kind of make sure that they can bring the legacy phones into life, that you can use it. Because again, you already made some investment in your old hardware. But I have seen that with the Cisco phones, that they let you upgrade the software on those phones to be able to make them team enabled.
Another question, what type of third-party add-ons do people typically require, if any? And what is the receptionist functionality within Teams if we have somebody sitting sort of at a front desk screening calls and things like that?
Again, that depends on your auto attendant, how you set it up. But you could have them when somebody called the main number, goes set up the auto attendant that goes right to receptionist, or you could have the option of that they get presented with the options, and from there one of those options be receptionist. So again, there's many ways to do it, and you also can be easily managed. So you can create a group called front desk, for example, and if the receptionist is on vacation, you can update that group, and you don't have to actually manually go to the team auto attendant setting to do that. And again, every organization is different. So
one last question has to do with, can you connect Teams with an elevator emergency line? And I'll extend that maybe to 911 emergency numbers. What can you do there?
So Microsoft Teams, just like any other VoIP system, has its own emergency locations you need to set up. So every phone number you assign, you need to assign it also a location, emergency location. So if you have multiple offices, you need to create those locations within the Microsoft Team under emergency section. And then when you assign the phone number, you will say that this person works in this location. So you need to kind of keep track of those things. Again, if you only have one location, that make it easy. But if you have multiple locations, just at the time of that Once you give a license to the user, you also need to give them a phone number. At the time of you giving a phone number, there's an option that you need to select the location of the user. And for the elevator, I'm not sure how to answer that. I just have to be careful about that. But perhaps we can elaborate on that. We can get answer to you right after this call, the webinar.
That is it for the posted questions, and I know we're just at 12:01.
Yeah, I only have 2 more slides I want to share. Just gonna say, when you're talking to your providers and the VoIP system, again, they're all trying very hard to say, okay, don't go with this because nobody want to lose the business. But again, Microsoft phone system is really a great solution that integrates with the rest of your Microsoft stack that you have. And as of this is what Gartner says, you know, the top leader in the unified communication service as of 2019. And what the Forrester, you can check out this report. The other thing that it is great with the teams, of course, regardless of phone system, the teams really provide a wide, vast type of the devices you can do, from mobile device to personal, from desk phones, and all-in-one collaboration and teams and so on. So again, they all come together for your team, like a meeting rooms or those things with the poly devices and so on. And also, there you have many ways of connecting. As I was mentioning, that you can go with a headset and a different type of headset. You can get a traditional phone, desk phones for the users if they want to go that route. So it really opens up the door that how you want to do this thing. And all these devices are team certified because, again, works very well. The controls on them and actually have a Teams button and everything on it. And this poly devices with the video bar and the trios is great. You book a meeting room, you go to a room that has a pad. Oh, my meeting, just click join, and people can call into it and all those things. So the phone system goes beyond the personal use, and you have lots of options. Just to bring this to the end here, and just want to talk about our upcoming sessions. This webinars runs 3rd Tuesday of each month. You can check out our upcoming events at pointalliance.com/events. So next month session is on a DocuSign. Then we're gonna have tips and tricks and other interesting subject. So that's I know we went a few minutes over. I want to thank you all for attending today's session. If you have any question, anything that you want to ask us, please reach out to us later. You can find me on the LinkedIn and direct phone on our website. Many ways to reach out to us. Please feel free to reach out to us and be happy to talk to you. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate you being here, and have a wonderful day.